Yeah, I'm recording.
Thanks, Luke.
You just gotta click the record button, right?
I'm recording now. It's done.
Cool. Alright, so we can start the meeting. This will be the meeting for September. Try and do one once a month for the new guys. For the guys who are here on the regular, this is more about a bit of a get together and just keep in touch with everything that's going on in the Corp. And to take part in the Corp auction after this. So, I mean, big headline stuff. I guess let's start off with the AT. Practice has been continuing. Is Alpha here actually? He's not. Okay. Well, I will do the talking for him then. But yeah, Scrim's been going well. Relatively happy with the attendance. It could be better, but you know, it is what it is. And the compositions are coming together as far as I know. Obviously, I can't exactly speak for where Alpha is at, but I basically told him he is team captain, so he will be making the choices of what comps we'll be going with. He'll be doing the leads on the picks and bans, and he is able to choose advice from whoever he wants to with regards to that. So please be as helpful as you can in terms of team picking. I have made it very clear to him that I want him to pick the best team for the job. So to take an example, I do not necessarily see him picking me just because I'm the CEO, or at least I hope he won't. I hope I've turned up to enough practices to at least get a chance of getting on the team. But yeah, we will have to see, and everyone has that spot to compete for to get on the squad. And it is not long now. It is the 1st and 2nd of October, I believe it starts. It's that first weekend of October. Anyone got any comments, questions about AT related stuff? Nothing at all? Everyone happy with the practice? Anyone you'd want to scrim with, particularly, that we haven't had a chance to, that you might want me to reach out to? Anything like that?
I guess, Rag, thanks to the people that aren't doing the AT. I know it can kind of pull a lot of energy out of the main corp, not only during that time frame, but also afterwards. So it's something that we're glad you guys can deal with and understand that it's a kind of a different type of gameplay for a little while, and it'll come back to normal,
Yeah,
So
that's a fair comment, actually, because I was going to use that as a bit of a lead into the fact that we're trying to obviously focus on the AT at the minute. I want to run an eviction op or something like that, and have an interesting corp focused op. But obviously, the AT is a bit of a priority, at least for the next couple of weeks, and then potentially for a lot longer than that if we make it through into the finals. So. Cool. Manoli, I know you're driving, but was there anything sort of admin, IT, or I guess Siege Team 6 as well related that you would want to comment or me to talk about if you're not capable of talking much in the car?
No, it's cool. It seems everything is working fine. I'm trying to keep everything running, so yeah, it's all good, I think. Pathfinder is back to normal, I think. If anyone's had any issues, please let me know.
Hello there.
Thank you, Mono. We love you. Barag, you're opening up chips in your hot miking.
Oh, sorry. And with regards to Pathfinder, have we been running into any particular problems other than just the usual stuff about making sure people are reminded how the systems work and like that the process of learning from the new guys isn't too painful?
I think as far as infrastructure goes, like just the servers themselves and everything, like I understand sometimes there's issues, guys, like mumble transition can be difficult and stuff, but basically Manoa is the only one that knows how to do it right now, and he does it like constantly all day, even despite the fact he has like a 1-month-old child. So just heap
And it's
praise
good.
on him. Yeah, just heap praise on him repeatedly. If you got a problem, just address him about it, but also include a compliment of some sort. You know, that's how we really should do it. Because if he stops, we're just going to write each other letters and send them in the mail. So just be aware of that.
Yep. Go guy. Yeah, going back to the point about making sure that Pathfinder is up to date. I'm going to keep banging on about this every Corp meeting. Making sure that those wormholes are size marked, making sure the bookmarks are accurate, making sure stuff that is probed down has the correct notifications and stuff like that. Learning how to rename systems and the other options that Pathfinder has. Obviously, if you're new to the Corp, then yeah, it's a process that is going to happen. Like if you want to be successful in this Corp, you're going to need to know how Pathfinder works and to a certain extent how to scan. We don't set expectations on an amount of scanning to do. You could get away with this Corp without doing any scanning at all, but like at least understanding the principles and how Pathfinder works, that is a necessity. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a two-sided issue too, guys. Like we will forever be explaining to people how to do things. Like it's how we structured our Corp, right? You got the older players that know what they're doing, have been in the Corp for a while, and then a new batch of guys that come in that need to be taught. Some of them pick it up quick. Some of them take a little longer to pick it up, and some of them just refuse to pick it up at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to have understanding of the fact that it's new to these people, and also recognize that you can try to help them out and fix it, or not. Like for the most part, we're looking for patience, because the real issue comes out when there's problems and the frustration builds real high, right? Because the frustration feeds frustration. Like everybody gets frustrated with it, then the person that didn't do it right, maybe they just didn't understand, and now they're worried because like Barolt and Kedra and Emor like have been yelling about it, and they can hear that and think, shit, those guys are important here.
It's fine, bro. Like, if anyone really kicks up shit about it, I'll just move us all back to Tripwire and you can live with it.
Watch your mouth, man. But just
okay, sorry, that's a hot line. Okay,
but just I just want to reaffirm it, and like we talk about it every so often, especially when we've been getting a lot of recruits now. You know, we give them the scaffolding here to succeed, right? If they don't want to climb on it, they don't want to use it, then okay, right? Those people usually just drift away and do something else. So you don't have to devote all your time to helping somebody out and fixing things. And if you know it's a person that just doesn't do it right and they don't listen to you, they don't do it, you can easily fix it yourself and, you know, maybe not gripe about it as much, you know. Just be aware of how frustration filters through other people. And especially in a game like this, we're in a submarine, right? That's the idea. We're all in here together, and if somebody's cranky and loud, other people get cranky and loud, right? So just try to reflect on that when you encounter an issue, right?
We want to be treated as we would want to be treated ourselves, basically, and that is again part of like the Corp ethos. I don't think we have any big internal problems, personally. I think the Corp grows pretty steadily, and I think like each time zone has its own sort of particular flavor to a certain extent, and there has been a little bit of like friction with that, which is why we're like working with Minus to help him set up his own Corp structure, just so that it works better for the Australian time zone guys. But yeah, we want to build that into the Corp as into the alliance, I should say, as a part of our package, as it were. You know, we've always aimed to have like activity, content, constant content. I can't speak for the Australian time zone guys. I am not online when they are online, right? I think there's probably a few of you guys here who may be like US West Coast, or maybe you get up like super early in the EU who have like a bit of a better feel for how it plays out. But like, you know, I talk to Minus. I think what we're aiming to do with him moving into a separate system and taking the Australian franchise, if you will, with him, it could have a lot of potential. It's up to us to like help it fulfill that potential, right? And that is basically where we're going with that. So the fact that we are now like an extra corp in the alliance doesn't necessarily mean that much. It's just basically allows an easier level of organization, right? It's not like we are bringing in a new group from completely outside, right? I may not be able to answer the questions that may come up about this. Minus is obviously like the lead person on that. But are there any questions with regards to what's the Corp called? I can't.
Sambuaya.
How is that actually how you pronounce it? Can someone
I
give
have
me
no
the
idea.
pronunciation?
Sambuaya.
Sangyabaya.
Revan knows how to pronounce it.
I mean, I can say some things about the split on our end. Like Bragg was saying, it's designed to be able to give AU time zone and Minus a chance to do something different. He's been looking for a C2 with a null 5. I think he might have settled on a 3 with a null.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I think he realizes that 2 with a 5 null would be a tough one to pull. But we'll see.
Yeah, and the distinction that we want to make is it's very much it's another corp, right? It's still in the alliance, but it's another corp. So it's not a situation where we want to have people put alts here or over there. It's more the idea of you choose one or the other. Like, what do you want to do in the game? You can be DKVC, you can be them, right?
I think it is very much a time zone based equation at this point.
But so that should dictate it pretty well. We're hoping to be able to set up scheduled apps. You're smacking stuff, right? Oh, cigarettes, so nice.
Does that mean am I for hot micing, or is it somebody else's stuff?
But that's the general idea, right? Like they're going for a different kind of flavor of play. It's a different time zone and we'll be very relatively disconnected without making efforts to connect. So that one of the concerns about having another corp is or another whole is bifurcation of the corp, right? We lose some percentage of people because they're over there, over here, that kind of thing. We decided it's doable with this situation because of the time zone difference, right? We're kind of 2 different corps already. Not much. Most of the leadership doesn't know what happens in AU time zone. Like they do their own thing. Minus runs it. So it's more just making a reality of what it actually is already, But for people that are wondering, do they want to go over there, come over here? It's up to you, and there's no issue with it, right? Like you can certainly go over there. You'll still be in the alliance and all that.
It's more of an issue of practicality.
Yeah.
We're just not sure how much connectivity we're liable to get. It kind of depends on them to a certain extent, how active the whole probing is going to be, and obviously how far we chain on our side.
Yep. But that's the general idea, guys, and we want to help it to work. But obviously, Minus has to tell us what to do. So we're going to work from there.
I don't think there were any questions other than that on that. Okay. So, I don't really need to talk much about recruitment. I will basically say that it's ongoing. Everyone's got a good idea of the shoot and recruit parameters, at least if you've been around a while. Just get them in the Banjo Fight Club, and one of the guys will speak to them. Kedri, you've been doing a really good job. Seeing you do a bit of recruitment. Other people occasionally post messages in the English recruitment chat. That's really helpful as well. And what was it? Savage? Is he here?
No,
So
but he apparently
some-
got somebody into Banjo today.
Yeah, I saw some chat on Discord about that, and that's also really good to see. Talking a little bit about Siege Team 6 ops, we had a rough op to do an op this week. Wednesday was not an optimal day, it turned out, because we were pretty busy that day. And I am currently the only seed in that hole, as far as I'm aware. Kedra, is that accurate?
I think so, yeah. I pulled mine and you got yours in.
So, I don't know. I'd like to do a bash up. We haven't done one for a while. It doesn't need to be particularly heavy. It doesn't need to be a Fortizar or anything too challenging. We can just go and knock on a lightly target store. I mean, I gotta admit, I feel like that collapse trap hole had some potential. I'd like to maybe consider hitting it in the next week or this week coming. But again, Wednesdays are not a good day for me because I do D&D that day. So that the initial timer, someone else is going to have to organise that unless we want to move it to a Thursday or something. And then when would that line it for, Manoli exclusive?
That would be a Sunday final timer.
Yeah, so I don't know how people feel about that.
Nah, let's do Wednesday and Saturday.
I think I'll have some free time this week and the following week, so I might be able to lead that.
But yeah, I don't want to put any pressure on other people. I don't want to set up an op that I'm not going to be able to run. But yeah, obviously, if we want to set up those optimal timers, then the Wednesday is going to be a challenge for me. But yeah, if we can maybe look to get in some other seeds, it's Collapse Trap, guys. If anyone knows anything about the reputation of Collapse Trap, we are going to need a lot of seeds. Probably double figures. They are going to roll a good number of us out. Okay? So that would be something that we would look to do this week, potentially. It was, 3 structures, was it? Was it 3 or 4?
I think it's 4.
It's 4? Okay.
But only small, no fort.
Yeah, that's why I kind of liked it as a target, personally. But, yeah,
All the
it's really up
information.
to you guys in terms of, if you want to hit it on the Wednesday, or if you find a better target before Wednesday, so we can look to set up the same shot for a Saturday timer. I will kind of leave that out there and see who picks up on it. All right. Any questions? I tell you what, exclusive or Manoli, do you want to do the quick Siege Team 6 spiel?
Let me just finish this op quickly. All the information exclusive is in Siege Team 6, pictures of the modules and the timers.
Well, I was just saying, maybe one of them can talk about how you joined Siege Team 6, what it's about, etc. Overall, if you want to do it, it was your baby initially.
Yeah, sure. Siege Team 6 is a special operation group, or a special interest group. And it's something that we do in addition to our regular course of activity. It's a group of people that engage in most of the work of an eviction or a bashing op. And so the goal is to be able to produce content for the Corp where They just have to show up for the timer. Literally, we just give them a desto, they warp over there, they jump in, they shoot people or a structure, they come back for the next timer. So all the work that's done on the back end of that is target selection, finding a hole, scanning it down the structures themselves, finding out how that fit, keeping a seed in there, watching for a period of time to determine what they bring out, what they don't, what kind of ships they use, intel gathering, that kind of stuff. And then also the setup and running of the operation itself. So preparing in advance, a few hours, the more hours, the better beforehand, making sure you have whole control or at least access in, and then rallying troops in home to start moving out in that direction. That can include rolling holes in the home hole or in the target system to get them closer to each other so that when the time comes for the operation, it's easy. That's the goal of Siege Team 6, is make it easy for the Corp. The Corp just shows up. Siege Team 6 does a lot of work, right? When you show up from the main Corp, you $sign up, as I'm sure you've heard, and you get a share based on how many times you show up. The way it's split up is Siege Team 6 splits 50% of the loot. 10% goes to the Corp, 40% goes to everybody else, depending on how much shares they have and how many times they showed up. Doesn't matter if you're in an Imicus in Siege Team 6 or if you're in a 5 rolling Megathrons, right? Your activity and your level of engagement, that's the most important. We can teach you what to do and how to do it. If you have any interest in this kind of activity and you want to be part of that 50% cut, and you can make money off this. You can make a living off this.
You can become a comfortable middle class member of ETH society.
Yeah.
One up.
Yeah, one up. I've been living off for 2 years, with nothing else. I mean, it's an outlier, of course, but outliers exist, right? And when shit pops out of that structure, it's very unique in the game to see that happen and then find out how much money I made, right? The other side of it is we do it for generally 3 reasons. We do it for, number 1, for content. We try to get a fight out of a group. For 2, we want money, so it's just for cash. And number 3, it's to burn somebody out that we don't like. We try not to burn out people that are active. So if they're a PvP Corp, if they're active, interested in the game, doing stuff that we agree with, then we try not to attack those kind of people. Null-sec groups, we just want them out of wormhole space. Those are prime targets. People that are just running farm holes and that kind of stuff, those are prime targets. We want to put pressure on them. Like, if you want to live in wormhole space, you have to defend your space. That's the key. And so
free lunch.
We pick targets with that kind of ethos in mind, and obviously it's set up about what we want, so we can construct our own worldview to comport with the fact that we're not bad guys, we're good guys, because we're preserving the sanctity of wormhole space. It's just whatever narrative we need to spin to make us feel good, But that's the general gist of it. If you are interested in joining Siege Team 6, you can contact Barolt or Exclusive Man or Manoli, or just really anywhere in Discord and general chat and say, I want to be in Siege Team 6, and we can scoop you up and talk to you about it. The key is we do not approach people to join, people approach us. That is the roadblock to get in. You have to take minimal action to show interest, which is talk to somebody that's in about getting in. That's it. From there, we can train you what to do, all the way up to the point of running ops, and that kind of thing. The reason it's Siege Team 6, that kind of name, is it was originally designed around 6 people. And that's generally the kind of number we look for, or we run with, between 2 to 6 to 8 people that are running the op. More is better and fine, but that's kind of the idea to run it. Any questions about that? All right, if you're interested, let us know. The best op we had was 800 billion ISK. 800 billion ISK.
Yeah,
You
sign me
don't-
up. That sounds fun.
You don't need to be a pro PvP or anything. Literally everybody can do this.
It's more about time commitment and willing to do that groundwork, to watch, to log on, to track targets.
I guess that's a good point to bring up, is that it's a special interest group because we demand more from you. In DKVC, you can just log off for a year and tell us, hey, man, I'm just kind of, gallivanting around the country. Or you can fuck up repeatedly. You can just, we're a casual kind of corp. It's a special interest group because if you say you're going to do something or be somewhere or act in this group and you don't show up, it can critically impact the entire operation, right? And you end up with lots of people that relied on you to do a thing and you did not do it. So obviously it's still a video game. It's not like we can, chop your legs off or something like that. But the situation is you should come into it with the understanding that there's a time commitment, and that time commitment is something that other people make a time commitment based on you. So that's the big thing, is if you just kind of back out at the last second and don't tell anybody about it or don't set up a situation, it's just a snub to everybody else that showed up and had nothing happen or no direction, right? So that's what we expect from people in Siege Team 6, is that we've yet to have a real situation where op fell apart in a situation that we didn't make it, call it off, right? So that's a key about Siege Team 6, and something that's critical to me and the people that run it, is that it is trustworthy to the line members, that they know that we give them a location, they sign in at a time, and they warp over there and they get something, So that's key, and we look for that dedication from Siege Team 6 members. But at the end of the day, it's all just, it's a spaceship video game. So, like, if you have to go to a wedding, like, go to that wedding, so. But
you would imagine that the wedding would be planned beforehand, but yeah,
right,
good example.
Yeah, so for example, I guess, but but the key is communication and understanding of other people's time commitment, and so we look for time commitment from you. That's all.
So yeah, if any of that sounds exciting or lucrative or both, we'll hook you up.
What else we got?
Gets everyone super excited for the next op like that. So yeah, I'd like to hit something this coming week, and then we'll have potentially more ops of that kind coming up. Other stuff. I guess we talked very briefly about like the new ships and stuff. There's some announcement today that we're getting at least 8 new ships. I don't know if someone wants to link the page. Actually, I think I can do it.
Prophecy Navy issue.
Yes. So is Scroll here? No, not probably working tonight. But yeah, we will have a look at these, see if some of them potentially usable, doctrinable. I really like the look of the Navy personally. I think that's got a lot of interesting meta potential. The Ferox Navy looks like a lot of fun, basically. And we all know how much we like the Prophecies and Cyclones, so I'm sure that will be good too. And I mean, the probing Navy stuff as well looks...
Like probing frigates with teeth is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it means that there is actually some like competition for the Astero, potentially. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. So, faction warfare. I am not committing us to any faction as yet. There will be continued shit talking about whichever faction we're going to join, right up until the point when we actually know what the fuck the mechanics are going to be. And then after we know what the mechanics are going to be, we will make a decision. Okay? But in some capacity, and unless there is some sort of weird hard lock out because of our situation, we will definitely be involved in the faction warfare stuff in some capacity. Okay? So, is that scheduled for like fourth quarter this year or first quarter next year? Do we know? Somewhere around that time.
Changes are coming in end fourth quarter this year, and anyone can sign up as first quarter next year.
Yeah. Cool. So that's exciting stuff on the horizon. I don't think there's anything else Corp related I really had to talk about, to be honest. So we can do a bit of an open forum. Is there anything anyone wants us to discuss? Do you have a topic to bring to the table?
Has been mentioned briefly already by Berold, but bookmarks, Pathfinder, all that stuff that is absolutely essential to Wormhole Life has been kind of all over the place in the last few weeks. It's, in my opinion, maybe even an AUTZ thing, because I log in before downtime and the bookmarks are all over the place. You're like in a system called C3Y and the bookmark inside is called C2A, and it's really, really confusing. At some point, somebody's going to die because of that reason, because you're trying to respond to somebody and you're looking for the C3Y, but the bookmark is actually called whatever else. People really need to get a bit more in sync with how we scan this stuff down. There is a YouTube video on the DKVC YouTube channel. You can definitely check that out. I'm gonna link it now. Hold on a sec. Let me find that quickly, because it explains stuff, how we do it, how things should be bookmarked. So if people don't know how to scan, that's a good video to watch. Sorry, I can't press push to talk and search for the video at the same time. Why am I not finding it? Ah, there it is. It's in Fleet chat and in Corp chat. For those who are not in Fleet, if somebody is not sure how to scan, how to name something, how to whatever related to Pathfinder, check that video out. It's gonna help.
Hey, this is Drogo Law. I hope you guys all know me. A lot of you probably do. I'm on pretty often. I sent out a Corp mail about a wormhole roam. Got some feedback on it. Want to open up to any questions, comments, or anything.
I
can just say
it's
the
great,
same
man.
thing. The same thing that the other guy said already. Just do it. Let's get going. Yeah, let's get going.
Nike.
I never check for
My
mail.
main concern is that I obviously want to schedule it around this sort of time of day because that's when the majority of the EU players seem to be on. But I obviously don't want to conflict with AT practice or any other ops. So if I could maybe get like 2 or 3 days in the week that are usually clear, I can kind of schedule it for that, because I'd want to schedule it like maybe like a week out so everyone kind of knows and is aware. But the general idea, in case you're not aware, haven't done something like this before, is this is sort of a one-way trip out. That's why some of those battleships are included. I know there was a lot of hair raising about that, and the main reason was because a lot of the bigger corps that we're trying to kind of fight, or I'm trying to kind of fight, they're going to bring Lashaks and things like that, and it seems like the main way to solve that problem is jams, and I just couldn't fit up a jam goose. So if you got one that works good, maybe we can solve that problem there. But it would only be 3 or 4 battleships. It will be kind of a tactical sort of fun thing. Maybe like have wave 1, see if we can get an engagement, and then if they bring something, we can bring in wave 2. Just imagine it'll be about an hour or 2. We're gonna try not to back down for basically anything unless they bring 20 paladins. It's a little ridiculous, but it's meant to be fun. Assuming you're gonna die, just bring something that you're fine with just getting blapped and just potting yourself to go back to Jeddah if you're out, because there's not going to be a good route back. So if anybody has specialty ships, like Armor Links, Absolution, or Damnation, that would be super helpful. And a couple of Hicks are going to be needed. If you don't have something like the T3Cs that I've linked, anything that's a buffer armor decent ship that can put out some good deeps would be useful and is fine. Please try to have a micro warp drive on there at least so that you can stay with the fleet if we try to burn out towards lodging and things like that. But otherwise, it's just for fun. So yeah.
Cool. I got some
That
advice
sounds
for you.
fun.
Send it.
Yeah, so it's awesome to see. We look for more FCs and people setting up stuff like that, and people are hungry for that kind of stuff. Like, it's definitely something people will respond well to. One of the things about FCing and about setting up an op like that, there's a few things. The first is making it as streamlined and smooth for people that are joining to be able to join easily, right? And so setting up ahead of time what kind of ships you'd need, minimum complement and that kind of thing, and even just putting it in a mail or a Discord or something like that of the date and time when you're going to do it, and then also like this is what we're looking to have to be able to go out. The other aspect of it is that it's a slow roll to start activities like this. We've seen it happen in the Corp a lot, and the general.
Yeah. I was going to kind of echo that. Like,
yeah.
don't set the expectations too high for the first fleet. Yeah.
And what is very critical is that in order to get it rolling, you have to get it started, right?
Yeah.
And then mostly the first time you run an op, you may get one person or 3 people or 4 people, and it's critical that you do something with that person who showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say not enough people, canceling it, nobody's showing up for round 2. Like, you know, and even if you do, you got a higher bar to hit. You know, so a good way to set it up and think about it is gradual increases in what you can do with certain people. So you got 2 people, that's easy to take 2 T3Cs and wormhole dive to your heart's content, right? Find the ratter, kill him. The key is that guy who shows up, he has a good time for an hour or 2 hours. And other people hear that good time happening. They hear about when you write an AAR about it, people see that, and then next week they make the time to show up. Now you got 4 people, 8 people, 20 people, 30 people, right? And it's about that kind of progression of showing up and producing. If you don't produce, people will drop off quickly. It's just kind of the way it goes.
And production doesn't necessarily mean, you know,
even a fight.
Getting ruffle stomped is, you know, still content, right?
Just the key is you undock and you go somewhere.
Yes.
Like if you do that, then you have provided content for that person. They played the game for a period of time. So that, and make sure you're able to adapt what you're doing to who you have and what's going on, right? Rather than just not enough. See you later. You'll never get enough after that, right? That's my advice for this kind of operation. Like, keep it a bit loose at the outset. Like, even say we need multiple hicks and this kind of thing. Like, sure, you know, but you're not going to get that at the start. It won't happen. So you got to
man can dream, set the bar high, but just be prepared to not make that initial, and then go with what you have.
And mostly, if you're going to set it up, do something with those people. That's my recommendation, and you'll go very far as an FC with that. People know that you produce, they'll come. But I want to encourage the hell out of you. Like, and if it's a situation where you need ships or modules or money or something like that, and you can present them in a way that makes sense to the officers and leadership, you'll consider funding your scheme. And this goes for everybody in the group. If you have a scheme that you want to run that involves other people, so coming to leadership and saying, I want to buy all the Gilas and Vita and then sell them back. I need 50 billion to make this happen, so let's do it. It provides content for you. Nobody gives a fuck about you, right? The leadership doesn't care about you. We care about everybody as a collective, right? So if you can come to us and produce an idea or a plan and tell us what you need and how to we can help you to facilitate that scheme. And these schemes can be a wide range of stuff, PvE, PvP, and mostly what we look for is that you take initiative, because everybody and their mother has a good idea of what to do. But that's as far as it gets usually, is wouldn't it be cool if we all got in Widows and went to Jita and started shooting stuff and got concreted? First of all, no. But second of all, like, I'm not going to fucking run it. Like, you know, just coming to me with an idea or a scheme that's cool. Like, I got my own schemes that I run, you know, and like I come up with them and I run those, right? So if you got a scheme and you need help on how to make it come to reality, that's something we can help you with. It's something we're really excited about. but it really involves you doing some legwork. Even if you don't know what that legwork might be, you can easily come to us and say, I think it'd be neat if X, Y, Z, and I'll usually tell you, well, you should do A, B, C. If you come back to me with A, B, and C, figure it out how many people you need, what kind of night you want to do it on, and what kind of ships. You can put that effort in and again, produce for us. We can fund what you're doing, right? Or provide some sort of scaffolding and help to be able to make it a reality, right? And this goes for anybody in Corp. Mostly you gotta, like Drugs is doing here, come up with an idea, present that idea, right? And we'll see how it goes, and we can see how we can facilitate it easier with the leadership backing you, right? Making it easier. And here, I think the way to make it easier is to, encourage Drugs to make it work. Like we encourage people, let's do this, sounds pretty neat. And encourage him to continue to come up with ideas like this and run these ideas. It's neat, right? So let's try to support him in that kind of activity.
Yeah.
And that helps everybody.
And in terms of time, obviously the next 2 weeks also are going to be pretty busy for AT practices. I can't sort of tell you exactly what days because we're trying to organise scrims. So far it's been like Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I wouldn't worry too much about that in terms of organisation. Just put up a time, and if you put up a time, I will try and organise around that in terms of our scrims. Okay, and I'd like to be there, so put it in a time where I'll be there, please.
All right. Thanks, guys. Sounds good.
I'm looking forward to it, Drog.
Me too. I
Yeah.
love that gameplay. It's gonna be exciting. Pumped.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty around the edges on FC, and I'll give you that. So that part might be a little bit shaky, but the rest will be good.
Nobody
Doesn't
cares,
matter.
especially me. I'm just fucking super glad that I don't have to do it. Right? Like,
To be
so
honest, dude,
whatever.
Probably have more trouble with other people backseating you, and I know your capacity to accept that from them is up to you.
I'm just gonna mute everybody.
I have to mute my mic when I'm in. I gotta mute my mic. All right, cool. Anything else from people?
Anyone else got anything?
I'm not entirely sure this is appropriate for a corporate meeting, but I had a general question, which is, what the fuck happened with the Plex price? It's around 2.3 bill now.
What Plex price?
Readjusting.
Why? What
Inflation.
happened?
Because
Yeah.
the price of monthly
Look at the
subscription went
launcher.
up.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Have you seen the price of space milk lately too? That's up real far.
That's what I'm saying.
And space
we
bread.
don't have,
Space
we don't have any
milk,
oil.
space bread,
oil
space
is
chicken.
crazy.
So, I got a little something.
What you got,
So-
Corey? Let's see it.
I've been thinking all these changes that are going to be happening, right? Something that the game really hasn't seen is that whole viability of those warp disrupt drones, right? Or not warp disrupt,
Weapon drones?
weapon drones, right? So theoretically, when this drops, a lot of people are going to try that out. Do you think the
Oh, yeah,
price of those
sure.
drones are going to go up?
No,
It's
the-
probably a savvy choice to take a punt on at the minute. I
It's
can't
not
tell
that-
you if you will, but
The Tech
hey,
One drones, they're made of no minerals and take no time to build. There'd be barely any.
not
Gotcha.
a lot of margin.
They are like 4,000 a pop, I think.
So then the only other way I can think of making ISK off of this, because there's no way you can just buy it. It's not like they're reworking existing ships. That way I would have bought those existing ships so that when they're reworked they go up in price and sell them. What they're doing is they're adding new ones. So then the question is, what is the
I
most
mean,
popular out of
if you
those, and what is
really
the
wanted to,
best counter?
I'd say if you really wanted to grab like a market share kind of vibe on this right now, like getting involved in low sec to a certain extent, because
If
you
you
want
want to
the
make
LP, right?
profit off of it, it's the LP, but you have to hand in a Tech One version of the ship to get the
So there
Navy
you go.
version.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the easier
Get
way.
yourself
anyway.
some holes.
So buy a
Oh,
bunch of like Myrmidons and then resell them when the demand for Myrmidons is really high because everyone's trading them in.
And probably Cyclones as well.
Yeah, whatever ships are on that list.
Oh yeah. Nice. All right. Anything else? I got one thing. Be nice to each other, guys. We play this game together. Sometimes there's conflict between people. We like it when you resolve the conflict. This isn't targeted at anybody in particular. Something I like to say every so often, probably every other Corp meeting or so, especially when we have a nice glut of new people. It's important that if you've been in the Corp before, if this is the first time you're seeing a wave of new guys, or if this is the 80th time you're seeing a wave of new guys, remember that it's our Corp runs on a social structure. We set up our rules, our customs, our how we run things based on our social knowledge of each other, right? Like we don't have any written rules. Yeah, we don't have any written rules. It's mostly like get along with each other, and if you can't, figure out a way how to resolve that, right?
Yeah.
Leadership is here if you can't resolve a problem. Like especially, I usually handle that kind of HR stuff. You can approach me. You can say, I have a problem with this person. What I ask for people that have a problem with a person is that they are capable of engaging in some sort of ameliorative effort, right? You have to be able to, I'm a lawyer by trade. I can arbitrate between the two of you, right? I can, especially it's a fucking video game, so I'm sure that we can come to some kind of resolution, right? And usually the person that's upset with somebody else, the other person doesn't even know or doesn't even recognize what the problem may be, right? So it's oftentimes it's easiest to just have a third party say, look, it pisses off Kedra when you make fun of Germans or something like that, and
Who
you
did
can
that?
say,
Oh,
and you can
annoying.
say,
Sorry,
you can say,
Kedra.
right? You can say,
Schmetterling.
I didn't know about that, right? And I didn't know it was a problem, and I can stop doing that, Or you can say, fuck Germans, I don't fucking care, and at that point I can say, okay, well maybe Kedra doesn't care that much either, or we can deal with it, right? But the idea is like make concessions to the people around you. They're going to be small concessions, right? If somebody is just a total fucking ass and just not working out, let us know. But mostly, most issues resolve themselves in the Corp because we tend to not necessarily turn our shoulder to people that are not very nice or engaging with us well or have a cool personality. Those people tend to just fall away because they don't fit in with us, right? And that's sort of the strategy we use. We have a broad recruitment strategy that narrows down as they kind of trickle through the Corp. And it works out reasonably well. We've been doing it for years. But it involves concessions from everybody, especially as we get larger. You have to be able to recognize that some days you have a bad day and somebody says something that triggers you, and it may just be that you just didn't like going to work today, right? And you can get over it. And also watch what you're saying and try not to trigger other people, right? It's some kind of happy medium between these, and that's what we look for is this accepting the fact that maybe you could upset somebody without them knowing or you knowing, and maybe somebody didn't mean to upset you, right? So just kind of consider that when something happens, and if it's a real problem, which is okay. It's okay to have real problems with people. We just want to resolve those problems. The biggest problem that we have in Corp, and we've had it happen a few times, is somebody that just doesn't want to log in anymore because it's too much work, right? Doesn't want to log in because they get pestered about X, Y, or Z. Doesn't want to log in because they get made fun of. And that kind of culture is not what we want. So, and we want to address those problems before they get into a situation where I'm sure everybody's been in a game before where they think, I'm just you're at the launcher and you think, I'm just going to do something else. This is not worth my energy to engage in this with these kind of people, right? We don't want to set up that kind of toxic situation and toxic environment. It's different in different time zones. You got to be able to roll with the punches. We are like 130 men in a fucking wormhole, right? So like, you're probably going to get razzed once in a while, okay? You got to be able to deal with that. But when it crosses the line, that's something we need people to recognize too, okay? That's just my general spiel about it. If anybody has a problem, you can consider me like an odd buzzman. If you have a problem with me, you can approach Frag and he'll just kick you and then we'll be done.
It's
That
like
was so good
I
up until
don't
that point.
think we have any major issues in this regard, but like Burrell is right in like just mention it, keep reinforcing it every Corp meeting.
It requires upkeep. You have to keep up with it.
This ain't no Christian Minecraft server, but like we do still have like certain standards of like how you should purport yourself, Like don't be a racist fucking dick would be a good start. And
All the time.
usually that kind of stuff shows itself up. pretty quickly.
We can figure out pretty well. Also, the structure of leadership for new guys that are in here, we are a dictatorship. Varag and I and Manoli and Melson, the directors, and Varag is the CEO, we make decisions without any voting, right? We decide what we're going to do, and we do it. We do try to kind of set up a benevolent dictatorship, right? Like we try to set up, we are interested in you having a good time in the game, and we put a lot of time and effort in making that happen, right? And making sure that people are happy or continuing to be able to make themselves happy, right?
We want people logging in.
But if there's a situation where you have a disagreement about a rule or a ruling on something or something like that, you can certainly approach us, and we take advice from people. We love to take advice. If everybody tells us that they want X, we generally won't say, well, we got 90% want X. Well, fuck them. I don't like X, so we're not going to do it, right? That's not how we run it. We more run it in the idea we take everybody's things into consideration, and then we make a decision based on that. But there's no voting. There's no appeals process. There's no due process. There's nothing, right? If we decide we don't like you or you don't fit or any reason, we can just make a decision, right? And it makes things so it's just streamlined, easier. It would be quagmired in bureaucracy if we ended up with a democracy or anything else like that. But
trust me, I've been in corps where they have some kind of democratic structure, and it is a complete drama nightmare fest. You just want someone who can say yes or no at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure new guys in the corp know that. If you have a problem with it, head on out. All right, that was a nice note to end on.
I think we'll call it there. Unless there's anything else, we've got like 8 minutes to the hour, and then we'll look to do the corp auction on the hour. Yeah, we'll go for the final.
I've got one thing.
Cool.
We want to know if there's any of this complicated Pathfinder or anything with regards to the corp rules or the way we do things, if anything is kind of hard to understand or the information is not easily obtainable.
We need to update all our things.
Yes.
So keep speaking.
Yes. Yes,
that's an officer meeting thing, right?
I've updated the corp welcome mail already.
Yeah,
that's
we
not
need to go through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
not what I was talking about. I was talking about we have a couple new guys here, or semi-new, like within the month. If there's anything that was kind of hard to understand, we would like to know about it. So then we can possibly focus on having that information easier to obtain.
Yeah, recommendations on improving the onboarding process.
That too, yeah.
I got
Mel.
two things.
Mila?
Hey everyone, my name is Mila Kunis. I wanted to ask about two things. The guys in Fleet Chat were talking about renaming the scheme of wormholes in Pathfinder. It seems to me that this is a pretty good idea to remove C from naming all the wormholes.
I agree.
It makes
you have a valid point.
No sense. In comms, it's much easier to say to somebody, go to 2A, 2B, and then 4C, for example. I think it's very practical idea.
So, my only real issue with that, and this is a pretty weak argument, and I will accept the fact that it is that it is somewhat ingrained into the corp that we have always done it that way. I feel like, you're right. There is no reason we need that C. It may streamline the bookmarking process somewhat, but I'm hesitant to do it just because it's probably going to cause some at least short-term hassle. But it's the sort of thing that we should discuss and then all agree to do at a court meeting, because the thing is, it's going to require a court mail. This is how we're doing it now. We've all got to sort of accept it. So do we want to sort of have a quick discussion on that right now? Is there anyone who is violently opposed to making that change? Or has comments about like dropping the C on the Pathfinder wormhole naming convention? So to give for instance, the C1C or C4D would now be just known as the 4D or the 1C.
Yeah, I think it's a good time for it right now, considering we're bringing new guys in and we're dealing with, you know, restructuring or making sure that we're doing all the stuff correctly on Pathfinder and that. So I think it's a good time for it.
Does everyone understand what we are referring to? Is anyone confused about?
Poor Bristol's gonna have to make a new video then.
I can't believe Band didn't object just to
Just edit the video to where we like put like just a blurb over the top of every time he says C.
Nice.
Like virtual Tipex. I love it.
Beep 3B.
I think most of the people who can stand to play Eve can understand the change.
And the second
only reason why
topic-
I'm opposed to it is because, again, it's a bit of a headache. I'm just going to be so ingrained in my mind to just refer to it like that.
It's not any harm.
Only for a couple of weeks, and then it'll
It's
be normal.
It's an excellent reason to make the change. If you are entrenched in the old ways, that's a really good reason to shake it up.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was an issue, but it should be relatively easy to fix. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that much of a change.
How many minutes we will save per year just by removing that one letter?
Well, we're putting you in charge of recording those minutes.
Are you sure we're not like overemphasizing this somewhat, guys?
I think also minutes we're saving in a video game, we're still fucking wasting them. So I guess whatever we do.
Can do more ship spinning.
Yeah.
So just as a point of order and to make sure I've got this clear in my head, the SC3 will still be known as the SC3.
No.
It will now be known as the S3.
Why?
Yeah?
S means static, right? That needs to be there.
Static 3, yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
The S3?
What's
Yeah.
the 3 mean then?
Just call the static the
bro.
1. And then you
I
can be
think we
like the
should
1,
call it
2, and
porcupine.
the 1, 2, 3.
Can we move to
No,
Roman
out of
letters?
spite, I'm still gonna call it
SYYY?
Can I name every hole after meat like I do my ships?
Yeah,
Here
it
we
already
go.
doesn't. It already
Check,
doesn't
check.
follow the rules.
Check 1 second. We will address this at the next officer meeting. I think we got the info we need. So we can make a change if we want to make a change then, Frank.
Yeah. All right. So Mila,
Uh,
what I will say is that I think it's been discussed. I think you're gonna see action on it, but I can't, in all good conscience, like do it today. We'll have to do it at the officer meeting, and then put up the announcement, and it'll be a court mail, and everyone will be informed. Right?
In America, we call that red tape, Mila.
Do
got it.
The wheels of bureaucracy turn slowly.
Mila, you had another thing, Mila?
I had to say another thing. As a new guy and a new character, I feel like I'm always in need of ISK. So, as I seen in your corp, people don't tend to fly in fleets PVE while clearing the content of the wormholes. As for me, it's much easier to fly in fleet with someone and to have access to higher content. So it's much more ISK per hour.
Mila, have I got a deal for you, bud? That's exactly what you need, man. Like, you need ISK, I got
Raven
ISK.
always,
Oh my God.
Raven always calls
You
someone
triggered the
in
used
fleet.
car salesman.
But I mean, it's if someone is interested, we can create a format for fleet. I mean, like 2 lodges on the constant.
Nice,
then
yeah.
two Webbers and everyone else is just drawn.
We have
So-
Corp fleet fit.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can go with that, Mila, and we can suggest you some corpse ways of doing it, or you can come up with your own way of doing it. But I would say that the big thing is that then you or someone else has to be the encouraging factor to people to group up, because
Got it.
it is very much like an ethos thing. And to be blunt, the leadership doesn't really want to step into the whole bush of, oh, should you be grouping up or soloing? Like, that's a personal choice. Like, the mass on the whole is obviously an issue, but I don't think that is a good enough reason for the leadership to intervene unless it was really becoming an issue.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, grouping up, it's kind of like reliant on recruitment, you know, that we're getting the new people in, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that is a constant thing. But then, yeah, you and other newer guys, you guys need to talk to each other, get together, etc., etc.
Right.
I know for me
One thing I would say.
personally- I know for me personally, I think this is what you're talking about. When I first joined the Corp, I did not have a lot of ISK, so I tended to not join as many PvP outings or rally points as I would have liked, just because I was spending my whole time just grinding and grinding and grinding. Now that I have disposable income, because I've been in this wormhole corp, I have gained enough disposable income on my own that I've just been going out of my way to join as many PvP outings as possible. So maybe it's just a time thing, you know?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I don't PvE ever. I've basically completely quit outside of the game because I just don't have the time and the inclination to do it that often. If there's something in particular that I want to run, I'll go run it. You know, I do my storyline. What are they called?
Epic arcs.
I don't even do that. I think I should start.
Right.
So-
But one thing I would say with regards to the fleet ask he's asking for is that if you're going to think about traditional fleets like 2 Logi, 2 Webbers, the struggle you're going to run into in the chain is suddenly you need like 10 pilots to do it in a timely fashion. And that's a really hard ask to get that many people for that long to make it worth your while. That's kind of why the fleets we've built up around, especially farming the SC3, tend to be smaller, like 2, 3, and then you can just add on your self-reppers.
I'm not talking about C3, I'm talking about C5, C6. It's much.
I linked
Can't
the
do
very
C6.
awesome cheap C5 fleet stuff we used to use. You would use Drakes for Logi and two or three Praxis torpedo ships to blow everything up. It's doable.
Send outfits and get ships, and people will come.
Mila, in regards to ISK, there's a lot of stuff. Do you gas? Do you mine? There's moon rocks. There's PI. It's not just ratting. So you have to like be engaged in all of that. You're like, you know what? I can't rat right now. You know what?
don't
I'm gonna
have
go
to.
cuff gas. You know,
Rather
I can't
than-
have gas. How about I get some moon ore? You know,
If you
It's
have
a lot of
a
stuff.
fit for a C5 fleet and you take one out to a C5, I'm sure you'll get people go with you.
I mean, I'm just gearing. I just bought, big announcement. I just bought my Varger, so I'm definitely gearing up for those C5 sites.
Yeah,
Nice.
I just got C5 Paladin today.
blow
So,
it up, blow it up.
I think you're going to see a lot more people in that.
Yeah, we've been doing C5s a lot.
So we're gonna do group Marauder stuff into C5s now. I'm in. Or is it solo Marauder stuff?
We've done C5s in groups.
Both
we don't,
works.
C3 is what we do solo. C5s we've always done in groups.
Trying to avoid that more, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. It's usually Luke's fault when this stuff happens, though.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Alright, anyway, I want to wrap it up, but is there any other cool things to bring up? Mila had some good points there.
Briefly, 30 seconds. The last time I really pressured officers to come up with what our mission statement was as a corp, what our rules, our regulations, who we are. We've touched on all of those things. The first thing is don't be a dick. It's extremely vague for a reason. I think Brault touched on that. The second is defend your space is our second thing. So everyone make sure you got Corp Doctrine fits. Make sure you have a Drake, make sure you have a Hurricane, make sure you have a home defense Raven. If you're a Logi bro, that means having a Basilisk. That's it. I think those are extremely important things. Everyone do a fire sale real quick. How many of those Abyssal, extra large, ancillary shield boosters do you need in here? I don't want to hear about how many you have. I don't want to hear about people's ISK right now. I just want you all to like open your inventory and say, how much of this stuff would I mind if I lost when the thing explodes? Because that's my 30 seconds. Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, do that. Corp fits. Check contracts. I guess we didn't talk anything about the market buyback. Use the buyback, guys. It's good. Do your PI, pay the corp taxes, and
PI.
if you do get any nice loot drops, please feel free to drop them into the secure hangar, and they will go to the corp auction, which we'll be having momentarily, and everyone gets a shot at it. Corp loot. It is done on, just a what's the word I'm looking for? Freeform basis. But yeah, it does go to pay everyone's SRP, and I'm sure everyone appreciates that.
Didn't get no SRP on that golem though. I'm just messing with it.
Alright. So let's break until, say, 1:15, and then the corp auction will start. Okay. Thank you for attending, and can you make sure that recording is posted to the Discord?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whereabouts in Discord?
General channel will be fine. What I will do is once you post it in the general channel, I will pin it to the Eve general channel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for a well-mediated and organized meeting. First one of this. I'm serious. No, I mean it's done well and everything's taken care of. It's nice. I appreciate it.
I guess we're relatively practiced